Hello everyone, and welcome to a Minecraft showcase video on Vanilla Tweaks, which is a modular resource pack, one where you get to pick the things you want to change in the game, and the theme is that most of these things are adjacent to vanilla, unlike other resource packs. Now, the last time I covered this was actually over on my second channel, and I wanted to bring it back to the main channel because I do absolutely love Vanilla Tweaks, and I also wanted to clarify I may have started the project, but I am no longer associated with it. However, I want to keep you informed on all the things that are being added and updated with it, and that's what we're going to do in this showcase video. So we're going to kick this off with the panoramas for the main Minecraft menu. As you can see, this one here is my Hermitcraft Season 7 base. That's been updated and added to the website, where you can actually select a panorama for each of my Hermitcraft bases throughout the seasons. One key feature that's been added here is the no panorama overlay option. This will simply remove the gradient from the panorama background on the main menu. And some new additions here include the end dimension, nostalgia for a panorama from the alpha version of the game, Stridy's resource pack development world, and also the panorama from the console edition of the game. It is also possible to customize the background texture of these menus. This one here is Deep Slate. So new additions to the options here are the various prismarine blocks and also the coral reef blocks. And then when it comes to 1.17, you got Deep Slate, you got Tough up the top here, and then there's also all of the different copper blocks as well as smooth basalt and calcite. And it's occurred to me that some of you may be brand new to all of this stuff, so let's do a little bit of a tutorial just to show you how to use the website. So we are mostly covering the resource packs today. When you head over to the Vanilla Tweaks website, you want to click on resource packs up the top, and then brings out this big menu of options, and they're broken down into different categories. And also up the top here, you can select different versions of the game as well. Then when you go ahead and select various parts from here, it compiles them on the list. Also on this side, it will notify you if there are any conflicts, and that means you need to come back here and remove some of the incompatible options. So you can go through and make many different selections, and it compiles it all on the side, and then all you have to do is go ahead and click download, and this creates the resource pack that you can put into your resource pack folder. You also have this share option as well, and this will create a link that you can share with other people to send them the same options that you've selected so they can download the pack themselves. And so without further ado, let's actually get into this now, starting with the aesthetics section. So first up, we have the brown leather pack. If I go ahead and type leather into here, you'll see that it has been changed to the brown color to match the leather armor. And this then gets applied to leather horse armor, to the saddle, also to item frames, which is kind of subtle, but it's just a little browner to match that leather texture. And then also for saddles, as you can see, I've got one in my inventory. But when applied to a mob, it's also now the same brown color. Another option is the golden crown. You would have seen this on me in the beginning of the video. This is simply the golden helmet just retextured, and it looks great on skeletons. If you're not a fan of the pale line that's on the kelp blocks, then you can select unbundled kelp blocks to get the texture like this, which I gotta say, I really do wish that was in vanilla right there. And you might have noticed in the beginning of the video that I had some fancy wings. This is the elytra. But this is the Phantom edition, and that is just a simple retexturing like this one as well. So there's multiple options. You've also got the dragon wings right here, and you might have noticed the shield I was holding looked exceptionally nice. This is because I was using the HD shields option. Let's go ahead and actually disable this, and look at that, like, huge difference. I am definitely going to be using this one from here on out. And also in this section, you have horizontal nuggets and vertical. So these will align all the nuggets to just be rotated in the same direction based on your choice. And then we also have alternate cut copper. So this changes the texture of copper to be like we first saw at Minecraft Live when these blocks were introduced. And here in the unobtrusive section, we have a borderless tinted glass and clean tinted glass. So here is what the tinted glass looks like without the streaks in the middle of it. And here it is with the streaks, but without the border. Very fancy stuff. We've also got a spyglass transparency pack. When we use this, you can see that the edge of the spyglass texture is transparent, so you get a little bit more visibility. The next sections are terrain, variation, and 3D. So first of all, we now have circular log tops. You can see them right there. I'm going to lay these out one by one. It just adds a little circular shape to it, which makes it more consistent with trees IRL, I guess you could say. And also this works for the stripped variants too. And look at this adorable sunflower right here. This is the fancy sunflower option, and the texture for this has been updated. And this is what it now looks like. Now, if the world looks bright and colourful here, that's because we got lush grass all around enabled, and this turns all of the grass into the same colour that you would find on the Mushroom Islands. There is two exceptions though. The grass colour cannot be changed in the dark oak forest and also the swamp. Those will remain like normal. The variated bricks options adds additional textures for this, just to add some soft and subtle changes to the brick colours, which can really help when you're building, you know, large flat walls. It just throws in a little extra detail. As you can also see, this applies to stairs and slabs too. And we mentioned the Mushroom Islands just a moment ago. You might notice something a little different here. The mushrooms on the ground are now actually 3D, and this is one of the features in the 3D section. And in this world, the sun and the moon are also 3D. This isn't a new feature, but the shape and the textures have been updated. Let's go ahead and turn around, and there's the moon in its 3D glory. The next selection is pixel consistent. Now, in the fixes section of the pack picker, there are quite a few called pixel consistent, and this is a philosophy that I really like. The idea is to make the scale of pixels when used on other blocks and mobs consistent with that of the world. So you can see the signs there are modified. Another one is the beacon beam. See, it doesn't have as many pixels, but now it's more consistent with the environment around it. Also, string has been changed for this philosophy, and also experience orbs, which is going to be a little tricky to show. There you go, but look, the scale is more consistent with the world around it. Now, fortunately, you can pick and choose these individually, because I personally wouldn't go for the ghast. Even though it's pixel consistent, I do like the blocky nature of the game. The wither here has also been retextured to be consistent with its size, as has the Elder Guardian and its beam, the particle effect when it attacks a player. We'll probably see that in just a moment. And the other one you can choose is the bat as well. And those eyes are quite different. Okay, there it is. The beam is different because now it's a little more consistent. The next sections are fun and retro. So have you heard of the standard galactic alphabet? Well, those mysterious particles that float in towards the enchanting table and the language used for enchanting, that is the standard galactic alphabet, and there is a option to basically change everything in the game to this. And it's kind of crazy. The cool thing is, though, you can still search things up. Like, I'm just typing redstone on the keyboard, and it's still all searchable. And working in reverse, there's also an option to then change that galactic text here into English, and you can see what those random words actually are. Cthulhu. Interesting. Included in this section is also a pack to change emeralds to rubies. And when emeralds were first being theorized about and shown, they actually appeared as these rubies with this texture. So if you want the red instead of the green, you got that option. And if you watch my Hermitcraft series, you might remember some Darth piglins in the world. Yeah, this is the Darth Xisuma skin, reskinned for piglins, and it's actually available on zombified piglins. That is my favorite rendition of these. That thing looks amazing. You can look, you can see the Doom Guy skin. It's just black and red. And also the piglin brute there with the golden accent, just looking absolutely amazing. Now, the axolotl mob added in this update is cute and adorable, but you know what makes it even cuter? Having a smile on its face. Yeah, that's what this option does. It just puts a smile on the axolotl, and I love that. They look even cuter now. Now, these next two are memes that I am completely unaware of, but this one replaces the spyglass overlay with this. And the music. That's pretty hilarious. So apparently in 2012 there was a screaming goat meme. And basically this makes the screaming goat even more crazy. Listen to that. And on the topic of sounds, from the retro pack we have the old door sounds. absolutely classic. That's bringing back some memories. This applies to trapdoors and fence gates too. There is also an option to bring back the sound that you get when you hit 5 levels of experience. And there it goes. And last of all, there is an option for classic oarless boats, which isn't just the icon there, but also the boat itself. And also in the retro section, if you want to convert the oars back to how they looked before 1.17, you've now got an option for that. The next sections are Parity and GUI. And the Parity additions are just simple retextures, so the emerald is like it is in Bedrock. This is the same for the snowball texture, and the third option you have is the map, but we actually have to open this up to see it, I believe. And there we go, that texture is slightly different, and that's what you would see in Bedrock Edition. Now, the user interface changes are, I believe, exclusively for the dark UI and the transparent UI, the dark one being my absolute favorite. So this thing just looks so good, and support has been added for the bundle, which isn't actually going to be included in 1.17, but it is still part of the game, and it also applies to many other screens as well, and occasionally some of these get looked over, like this social interactions screen, which I'm sure many of you have actually forgotten about, so now this is supported by the dark UI. Oh, and lastly, it now supports all different languages in the game as well. So where you have, different words on the screen that need to be translated, all of that stuff works with both of these UIs. Next up, we have the utility section. Now, you might have noticed it's difficult to tell the waxed copper from copper blocks apart. This utility option right here is fantastic for telling the difference in your inventory. You can see when I'm holding the block it looks like it's different too, but when placed in the world it doesn't have the waxed outline. The brewing guide that was previously added to Vanilla Tweaks has been overhauled, and this one is 1,000,000 times better. It now utilizes the space outside of the normal interface and gives you hints as to how to make all of the different potion types and what the modifiers are, and that to me is just a standard right there. I'm always going to want to play with that on. Cauldrons and composters have received some visual aid to tell you what's going on if you're looking at them from the side. Remember, sometimes you're just looking at the block from over here. And so as I remove some of the water, you can see the different levels. This guy has just claimed one of those as a workstation. That is hilarious. Let's see the composter in action. There you go. Looking very good. Directional droppers and dispensers are now available, so you can see that there are arrows on all sides of the block hinting at what direction it is facing, which is very useful because sometimes it can be a little tricky to tell. Now, the Note Block Banners pack has been renamed to Visual Note Block Pitch, as it has been entirely retextured here, and the credit goes to Mickey Joe Alpha, who has made some other contributions to Vanilla Tweaks as well. That, my friends, is really fantastic. It used to have a banner coming off the side like a 3D element with some information on it, but this is just a gazillion times better. That is so very nice. Now, Mojang's solution to the lever and not knowing if it's on or off was to add particle effects. However, this is gorgeous. There's now like a little red bit that lights up to let you know that it's powered. And the lodestone block in my inventory probably looks slightly different, and that's because it now actually works as a compass block as well, telling you the direction that it's facing in the world. Let's just double check that, We got north over here, and then we got east. Yeah, that's fantastic. I really like that change. And here on the website, the Hunger Preview pack and also the Arabic numerals packs, those have been updated to support all languages in the game. And all the things I've shown so far, I think I found my first bug. This texture should be unlit like its counterpart because this is the unlit redstone option. The idea being that the redstone emits light and then gives out particle effects, but the texture doesn't really reflect that. So if you want to make this change, you have the option. It'll look like this until you activate it, and then it will light up to its regular texture. And then we have the sensible ores option, which I believe the idea here is to group up the ores based on what types of things that they drop. And so they group up like this. I'm not entirely sure of the point of this resource pack, but hey, if this appeals to you, then you can change the textures to look like this. Now, part of Vanilla Tweaks is also the data packs, of course, and the crafting tweaks to change the recipes in the game. I'm not going to be covering all the additions and changes here, with one exception though, and that is the mini block data pack. So in total there are 32 trades for 1.17. Some of those are retexturings of the old ores, and the rest of them are the new blocks. You can see them all lined up here. So the Wandering Trader will appear in your world with some of these trades at random, and Stridey sent me a pack here that simply puts all of the trades onto one Wandering Trader, so we can see all of the new ones. And yes, when I say all, I mean all of the new ones, as of course there are way more than these. But here they all are, and the one that I wanted to point out was over here, the cut copper. I thought it was interesting it didn't pick copper over cut copper, but actually if you look at it, it almost looks like a copper block anyway, because it's like 1/8 of the block, right? So yeah, I think that works out pretty nice, that one. And I should also mention that the very popular More Mob Heads has been updated for 1.17, and that includes the retexturing of the Hoglin and Zoglin heads, which now have much better textures. And so we got to say a massive thanks to the Vanilla Tweaks team for putting all of this stuff together, as well as all of the people here who have contributed to some of the individual packs. They're listed at the bottom of the Vanilla Tweaks page. The team also has a Patreon account if you would like to support them directly. And this of course brings us to the end of the video, so if you've enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like. You can find a link to the website in the description box below. And that's it from me, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.